I said to my Buddhist friend, look, the Bodhisattva vow, which is that, I shall not enter nirvana, whatever you like to call it, paradise, perfection, final leaving, until every life form has gone in before me, basically. Heaven wouldn't be heaven if someone's left outside. I said, what's the need to do that if there's already one Buddha in existence who's going to do it? One pure Bodhisattva alone. Because he is the guarantor. He is enlightened. He can do it. And my friend's reply was, well, no. He relates to some people very well, but others won't listen to him, but they would listen to you. Oh. Well, that was an interesting sort of answer. I quite liked that. It's a typical theology type solution to justify why others should also be taking the Bodhisattva vow. I mean, nobody was questioning that you should be kind to other people anyway, of course. But Bodhisattva vow is dramatically more than that. And of course, as I pointed out to him, but that assumes that there aren't new souls being made, new life forms, only reincarnated certain stock. He said, yes, that's right, that is a Tibetan view. So I thought this was, well, of course it's not likely from my point of view, but we come from different directions, And if lives are continually being brought into existence, not just born here, incarnated, but actually new lives appearing from time to time, or continuously, then the Bodhisattva would never enter nirvana, so to speak, heaven, because he'd be waiting for the next lot coming along to make sure they got in as well. But even so, you'd only need one person to do it. But anyway, he solved the reason as to why you might need more persons. So the ideal is we all take the Bodhisattva vow, sort of thing. Oh, yes, okay. Well, that's not my persuasion. That's not my religion. But I appreciate it's his, and he appreciates it's not mine. And somehow, we still very much talk to each other. In fact, I think we find we're the most significant people to each other, despite having quite different approach, not just beliefs. But I can never pin him down on what he believes. He always says, well, the Buddhist teaching is. Now this, of course, is typical classical humility, that I only give the teaching, I don't give my view. I'm selfless, you see. But to me, that's a dead end. I want to know what he has found, for sure. I don't believe he's found all of Buddhism to be all correct. So I pulled him over on the other day on a particular story of one of them was a Bodhisattva who was an arhat, or I don't know, some highly developed soul. He was asked to give his alms, so he gave his alms. And well, one is I couldn't see how this benefited the person to whom he gave the alms to. And I just said, do you believe this? Well, he didn't give me a straight answer. He hedged, and I said, do you believe it, or do you believe that it's a very helpful instructional, teaching story? But he wouldn't give me a straight answer. So I guess I got the answer, really, that he can't believe it, but feels he should. Oh, that's a shame, isn't it? I mean, you're divided against yourself, aren't you? I'm supposed to believe something that I just don't believe from my experience? Oh dear. I don't think that's wise, do you? What goes through my mind is, to thine own self be true. There are many belief systems. You're not in a position to know reliably at all which one is truly right. You can take the one nearest to hand, or you can be so disillusioned with it that you seize upon another in hope. But if you don't instead follow what you see as logically consistent, then you'll be at sea in a chaos. By no means assured of a good outcome, but holding on to a maze of contradictions and pieces of things that don't hold together. You see, you are not made to simply copy and support that which is. You are life. You create. You look at, surmise, imagine, try and test. We are not come to simply mirror certainty. We are not come to simply accept what is. We have discontent, and it's a valuable discontent. It makes us look at what is and say, I would prefer so-and-so, or I think it could be understood in a different way. In other words, you're constantly the frontier. That is what life is, and if you're not doing that, you're not living. This is sovereignty. You are the unique, the new, the ever-evolving. You are not simply copying and reproducing and forever building on the old. Too much uncertainty is, of course, unmanageable, but you are forever experimenting, thinking of new possibilities, thinking of alternatives, surmising which might be more useful, better, more capable, more rewarding, safer, a blessing. You are life, creativity, not rigid conformity. You have a noble discontent. which drives you on in eternal life itself. It's not just eternal. It's not eternal stillness, unchanging, some endless serenity of peace and passivity, but a discontent that moves you to think, reformulate, imagine, suggest, tentatively see if you are forever building, ever changing. This is life. Life that can improve upon, adapt, solve, bless, create. Do not surrender your sovereignty to a conformity where you stop creating. You will lose your blessedness of life, of joy, of living in a dull adherence to that which is increasingly unsatisfactory and not improved by you. Young and alive, come into the world that they grow up in and wish to change it for the better, and imagine all sorts of things for the better, and start moving towards it, bringing it about. You see, they are creators. They are full of life. They are not some passivity of fitting and conformity. As hooligans, young and impetuous, need to settle down by the older ones, have yet a joy in their creativity. The whole being is alive with health and vitality, movement and discontent that's always seeking out experiences that bring joy and fun and life and creativity and experience. This is life. We seek life eternal, and come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. I am not come that you simply accept, conform, and remain in constant conformity, acceptance, and obedience. You are here to learn to create in safety, to know the rules that bring this safety, but still to create within them, and to be ever clearer when the rules apply and when they don't, and to what purpose, to what gain. You see, we have imagination. We imagine what could possibly be better. we seek towards such? With caution, yes. Not with abandonment. But not in such a timidity that we forever remain where we are. But you will find that becomes increasingly unsatisfactory. And you will in the end be compelled to find a solution. For life must go on, else it would not exist. So this is in you, this is the drive, this is who you are. You are a creator. Of course you're a creator. You're a child of God. He's so creative, he puts this incredible universe and existence together. Thank you, Dad. So I minimize uncertainty, but not to the extent that I don't risk some changes. I try to know what changes might be worthwhile and that are not so uncertain, not too uncertain, so to speak, as regards what possible impact or catastrophe they could have if I follow them. I build on, but I do still build. If a thing doesn't seem to fit or be consistent with what I value, I try to see what changes are needed. Cautious, yes, because we know we never can be sure of the whole story, but not so cautious that we stop changing and simply accept what is regardless of circumstances. We are blessed by circumstances, they drive us on. In our life. Thank you, Dad. You see, if I come back to the beginning, my friend's problem at heart, at root, is that he's building on assumptions that are not acceptable. He's pursuing simply a narrow view, the Buddhist view, of removing suffering. Of course, selflessness, no self-existing, removes the problem of suffering. It's called death. You've arrived at this solution because in ignorance, being a child, of course, us, we're children, you've thought of it as if there are no parents. There is no God, so whatever the best solution is to this avoiding of suffering, it has to come from us. And the Bodhisattva vow comes as a consequence. I must be dedicated to this selflessness coming to all. You're actually saying that I'm going to annihilate everyone. It's a genocide.
theosophy. Because it's killed God. You've killed your creator. You said, well, I've no idea about issues of cause, why we're here, how we're here, who the father of this is, who the parent of this, who's the creator of this circumstance, or how has it come about? I have a complete blank there, and it's of no interest to me. All I'm interested in is removing suffering. Well, death removes suffering, of course. Sitting absolutely still with the mind so controlled doesn't notice anything or any need. Will mean that you're not suffering. I mean, assuming it's possible. But it's only possible really by switching the mind off completely, which is death. That's what this philosophy is of living in the present. The present doesn't exist. No matter how small a period of time you get, it's still covering non-zero space of time, which therefore is both past and future. There is only the past and the future. In the past you can't do anything about, as far as you know, unless you're God and can travel across time, nor can you do much about the future that's reliable. But the future is the only possibility to work upon. For if you have only the past and only the present and no future, you are now dead. There is no future to come to. If there's no future to come to, you are dead. You see, to live in the present is to stop imagining a good change to the present that you could have in the future. You've stopped all blessedness. What was your fundamental premise, that assumption, implicit, that you don't realize you made? That there's no God. Okay, try the alternative, put God in. Suddenly the whole picture changes. For instance, with the Bodhisattva vow, I don't have to worry about the whole of the planet, the whole of the universe, all other life. God has got it in hand. Whoever's created this fantastic experience is certainly more able to put it right than I am, if indeed it's wrong. And really we're so incompetent that what we see as wrong could be perfectly right. It's us that's inadequate, not the creation. And that is my argument, isn't it, that this universe could well be a classroom, and it's doing very well with its mix of good and evil, if you understand it in terms of a greater existence, heaven if you like, God, and some purpose beyond the universe. But if you just look at the school in itself, well, it's ridiculous. Superficially, the kids don't seem to ever get any older or more mature. They never get beyond, say, the age of 11, because of course they actually go up to another school. But you're only looking at this school. And teachers come and go and children come and go. And the school's still much the same. It's still doing what it does. Has these young people which it's training, and it seems to be to no point. Well, of course it seems to be to no point, because you're only looking at the school instead of the wider society in which the school exists and has been created for and is managed for, ideally, accordingly. Well, we think it's ideally, don't we? If you don't have God or something beyond this creation, then you have no rhyme or reason for it. For the creation seems to just churn on to no point. You find this frustrating and a source of discomfort, suffering, so you wish to solve it. The only way you can solve it is by having a greater purpose, something beyond that makes this rational, acceptable, not the impossible imperfection that you keep condemning it to be, but a very functional part of a much greater picture. If you refuse to see the greater picture, that, I am just what I see, the body. There is only what I can sense, which is physical things in time, space, and uncertainty. You see, the very premise that you start from, the single purpose, you can have wrong. Suffering may be an incredible blessing in some context, which you have not realized, because you're just obsessed with the suffering. The child may not appreciate that. If you like, he needs to go to the dentist. The parent does. Takes him to the dentist. The child can't understand this. If you leave the child to make the decision, he won't go to the dentist. And of course then, if there is something wrong that could have been put right, he's still got the something wrong until it puts itself right or it kills him. You need the parent. Anyone could tell you that. Well, equally, I'm imagining a God that wipes out his children. This is not good. This doesn't sound very conducive to being what we truly want. We want a God that will remove suffering, that will do that which is best, as he understands it in his much greater godlike powers and knowledge and wisdom. We are used to deferring to such. That doesn't mean conforming to a belief about him that is destructive, like his non-existence. So we choose carefully what we believe, with caution, yes, of course, because of uncertainty. This is our sovereignty. This is what life is, and we're being trained to use our sovereignty very wisely indeed. That is my trust and my purpose. How could anything be wiser than such? Thank you, Dad.